Okay, for those of you that are here tonight, we're going to be, for the first time in Florida, we're going to be playing 7 Mountain Beach Ball. You're going to love the show. I'm wearing sneakers tonight just because I realized last night that you guys are going to make me work harder than I normally do, so I'm going to have to run around a little bit tonight. Now, here's what 7 Mountain Beach Ball is. I was doing a program in Florida, actually, and I had invited a Breitbart journalist, Lee Stranahan, to come. And I was doing kind of like a mastermind session, a breakout session for influencers that wanted to understand the 7 Mountain concept. Because more and more, I mean, it's so weird. I was talking 7 Mountains for like 20 years, and suddenly it's like everybody gets it. Because when Donald Trump came along, he said, fake news. Suddenly the media mountain just got labeled fake news. And then we see what's happening with the woke corporations. Boom. We see the business mountain. And we see the battle is right there in the courts, and it's in the Supreme Court, and it's in politics, and who's in the White House, and who's in the governor's office. The political mountain. I mean, the picture is getting so clear. I don't even have it's interesting. It's not even a theory anymore. The 7 Mountains is shorthand for how the domains of culture are at war to determine the future. What's weird is the church has a kind of a schizophrenia about interacting with this world. And I understand it because I are one of us. And for years, I would talk about 7 Mountains. And I thought, well, from a safe distance of the church, I could educate Christians about 7 Mountains. And so I realized that if we don't occupy those mountains get occupied by people that are loaded with demons, and then they come after our mountain. And I was like, the Lord said, you better go into all the world, like I said, or the world's going to try to get into your church. I said, well, we won't compromise. He said, they'll shut you down. Marxism doesn't just tell you what to preach. It annihilates your right to gather. So it's like, oh, this is interesting. So Lee Stranahan, I showed him the 7 Mountains, and he took me up another level. He said, well, you know how it works. It's a Breitbart reporter with Andrew Breitbart. He said, here's what we've seen. He said, what you see is that the Soros crowd, the Democracy Alliance, the big donors, and we're going to illustrate this tonight, but I want you to catch this. So the business mountain over here has the big bucks. They fund the transformation of America. And I'm challenging all of you that have the gift and ability to acquire wealth, to realize how important it is that you do what you're gifted to do. Because you have a unique set of skills, like Liam Neeson says in Taken. You have a unique set of skills. And your skills can plunder money from the devil into the kingdom of God for righteous purposes. You've got to use that skill. If I was a healing evangelist and I sat on the beach all day drinking, pina coladas and never doing my ministry, I would face Jesus and have to face a correction when I met him because of all the people that I was supposed to heal that didn't get healed because I wasn't utilizing the one thing I was given. You that have the ability to create wealth should create wealth because this is how the devil is actually transforming the world right now. He's got disciples who acquire the wealth. And then here's how the sequence goes. They take that money, and the first step in the sequence they go for is they go from the business mountain to the education mountain to get white papers. This is just one sequence I'll show you, one game, but it's a common one. So let's say the game is going to be, we're going to promote transgender ideology. We've got one billionaire in Colorado who has transformed America on the LGBTQ by finding that the soft spot is the T with the transgender issue. So it starts with a white paper. You've got to buy the scholarship. Just like with climate, you can buy the scholarship. You pay for the scholar who you already know is in your pocket in terms of the same conclusion you want to come to, and you fund them to come up with a scholarly white paper on critical race theory or on transgender suicide as a result of depression. So you do a study on how many people that you don't question the fact that if somebody thinks they're in the wrong body, that might be right there the cause of their depression. You say they believe they're in the wrong body and people bully them, and therefore the depression is because of the reaction of the public to their legitimate concern about being in the wrong body, and therefore the problem is the public, so the public's going to have to change how it behaves. And we're going to put out a paper that'll make that happen by proving depression leads to suicide among transgender youth who are bullied by heterosexuals. Oh, that kills two birds with one stone. We're punching the heterosexuals and we're exalting transgenders. So the white paper comes out. Now, the white paper comes out. As soon as the white paper comes out, the business community is happy. The business community goes and they start to connect with their media outlets because the Democratic Party is really they have $1 billion worth of free media every year. CNN and the New York Times is infested with two agencies you need to know about. It's the intelligence community is embedded in those places so that they're always leaking stories to prepare the American public for their policies that they want to push on America. The second thing is they have the Democratic operatives who are all left-leaning coming out of the social circles of their Democratic and liberal friends, particularly in those more concentrated areas of demonic activity, which is the hubs of major cities, New York, D.C., and L.A. particularly. So it's your social circle is there, your peer circle, your ideological frame of reference, your schools you came from, and then you're funded and incentivized to do the party line, and you've got intelligence people you can bring on as experts who will recommend the experts you're going to have on. So media now takes that white paper. So what I'll do is make it a little bit easier. I'm going to just show you how it goes this way. So the education white paper goes, boom, into the media back pocket. The media now has the experts that come on referring to the study. A new study says, they always call it the new study. It's a study because it's funded by the left to get a PhD to write the paper that endorses you so that you have credibility in whatever your doctrine is. Now you have the media goes and they have the expert study and they reveal the experts, but if it's really important enough, they get the celebrity that's going to put the juice on the expert study. So now you have Ben Affleck or Matt Damon or somebody who is, or Barbara Streisand, some liberal from Hollywood is now going to adopt the issue because their liberal circle says this is important. What's happening is the abuse of these kids. They're suffering from depression because of the abuse, just because they're different. And then, boom, Hollywood gets in on it. So you have celebrity expert endorsement. You guys notice the pattern already? Then what happens is, boom, as they're doing that, we have to have the event. What's the event? Well, it has to be a protest. Somewhere you're going to have a number of people who give the impression that there's a lot of people that are concerned about this, and this is an outrage, and they're going to have their signs all made, and curiously enough, although they're seemingly independent, all the signs say the same thing, because the people that are over here in the business community, the Soros world, they are paying branding experts on how to package the message so that it has the most power with the protest. So we got the business guys, funding transformation, goes to the white paper, education takes them over to the media with the celebrity and the experts, take it over to the protest, the event, the flashpoint. Now we have this uprising on a campus, this uprising at a courthouse, this uprising in a local community, this uprising, or maybe it's some news item. There's 10 deaths that are happening in Chicago, but get that one right over there. That's perfect. That's a policeman that killed somebody versus people killing each other. That's the story. And it goes perfectly with our narrative. So once the brand experts got their message out there and the protest is taking place, then what happens is this is floating back into media because media's got to let you know about the protest. And so they have this cycle going on. And meanwhile, you got a dotted line of money. There's funding going on to these NGO activists, 501c3s. But this is weird. All these 501c3s. So that's what a church is, a 501c3. We're like wearing a chastity belt of anxiety about getting involved with politics. Meanwhile, the left transforms America through the same organizations that are channeling all these donations into them in order to promote homosexuality, lesbian agendas, transgender anxiety issues, climate change, critical race theory. You name the devil you're fighting, and there's a 501c3 funded to evangelize America on that subject. See how stupid it is for us to not be involved with any issue. What we're up against is a 501c3 funded to take you out. And they're not looking for live and let live. They're not like you. They're looking to destroy you. This is the problem. You think your opposition is like you. That's a big mistake. They are not like you. They are not looking for a fair outcome. They're looking to annihilate you.
Oh boy, this episode was so hot, YouTube and Facebook might not be able to handle it. So go to lancewallnau.com/podcast or Rumble to hear the whole thing. If you're like me, you get frustrated when you see Target and these big shop stores that are pushing their woke agenda on your children. How do you fight back? Well, you got to reorganize. Public square is what you've got to do. I want you to give your business to people that share your values, share your faith, that are patriots, that are pushing back on these big woke corporations. Go to lancewallnau.com/public square or public SQ. Download the free app so that you can shop with people in your own area. Put the money in your community in the pockets of the friends that are sharing your values. And by the way, if you've got a business, you especially need to use this app because you can put your business on the app so that other people know who you are and they can do business with you. lancewallnau.com/